All right, everybody. This is the earliest I've ever recorded a podcast, I think, and it's 7 o'clock. So a lot of people are like, "Dude, 7 o'clock? I've been up since 4 or whatever." But in the podcast world, like I've been up since about 5:30 this morning. Got to get the kids ready for school. Got to watch the news. Got to figure out what the hell's going on in the weather department. Our practice is going to be canceled, and so anyway. I know that today's guest, Mr. Parker McDonald, all the way from Alabama, you got some like kid graduation deal going on, or what's the deal?
Yeah, we got it's the end of school year, so we got 2 days left, and
Yep.
they got award ceremonies today, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like stacked. So we've got one at like 8, and then one or 8:30 ish, 8:15, 8:30, something like that,
Yep.
and then we got one at 11,
Yeah.
and like just little end of the year parties and stuff. And that's the
Yeah.
best part for me about being self-employed. It's one of my obviously my hunting schedule is great and stuff, but
Yeah.
with that comes okay, I'm also not going to miss the things that I like this. If at all possible, I'm not going to miss it. So like whenever we have awards or Christmas
Hmm.
parties or anything like that, I really try to make sure that other stuff just doesn't get in the way of it, you know?
Right.
So I appreciate
Dude.
you doing it this early though, man.
Oh
And
no.
here's the deal. I'm probably not a morning person, but I'm better in the morning. Like
Yeah.
I work better in the morning. I think better in the morning.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I
Once the
imagine that means I'll be able to think about turkeys and talk about turkeys better in the morning too.
yeah, once I get to a certain point in the day, like I don't like I podcast better in the morning. I'm fresh, right?
Yep.
And then when I start getting into like the routine of editing and the routine of like all the copy and pasting and all the like mind numbing shit that people, and it's just not me. It's like a lot of people, spreadsheets or whatever. I like to knock all that, the active stuff out in the morning and then coast into the night. And then I can work on a edit at wrestling practice or at dance. Like last night, I was editing in the studio, or in the dance studio while my daughter was dancing. So yeah.
How many podcasts do you record a week? Like through the multiple shows that you do?
Okay. So obviously the How to Hunt Turkey, Nine Finger Chronicles, How to Hunt Deer, Man Therapy podcast, Western Rookie podcast, and then off and on, not consistent anymore, is the Hunting Gear podcast. So 6.
Okay, sick. And
Yeah.
and most of those are the first 5, are they weekly episodes?
Yeah.
Hey, dude.
Nine Finger Chronicles is 2 a week.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Golly.
So
So
7
you're stacked.
episodes.
Is it Monday through Friday you're recording a podcast, or do you try to stack them all in a day?
Like today I have 2.
Okay.
So ideally what would happen is if I could knock them out Monday, Tuesday and record 6 in 3 days and then just have the editing portion of it, or, try to catch up where like, for example, before the rut, before November, like I try to schedule a ton of episodes every
Yeah.
week. So that way when November hits, I can go hunt, or late October or my Western trip, I can go hunt, and all I have to do is edit and put pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't record I don't do a podcast anymore. So
Yeah.
I haven't, it's been a minute. Like your
Mhm.
podcast, being a guest on your podcast is
Mhm.
really nice for me because I do enjoy it. I like to talk about it and things. And,
Yeah.
but at one point we were doing a turkey series called March to Spring last year, and we did
Yep.
30 days of
Mhm.
podcasts in a row.
Yeah.
And, I imagine my life felt a lot more like your life at that point. That's
Yeah.
tough, dude. It's
Yeah.
really, really hard to record. And it's not hard to record. It's hard to every single day. You've got to line things up with a guest. You've got to
Oh, that's the
communicate with a
hardest part.
guest. It's the hardest
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Props to you,
And
man. That's awesome.
yeah, and then and then all of a sudden they're recording in a car while they're driving, and I'm like,
Yeah.
my fault for not telling you this, but I can't do it. Like, you're like, the service is gonna be shit, your audio is gonna be shit, like all that stuff. But anyway, I love doing what I do, dude. I just
Yeah.
love talking about the outdoors, man. I just love it. So I
Well,
can
you're
talk
good
about
at
it
it.
every day, my friend. And then other stuff too, like that Man Therapy podcast that I host. It has nothing to do with hunting.
Right.
It's like how to be a better husband, how to be a better father, how to be a better person in general, and things like that. And then I want to ask you a question. This is for those of you who don't know, Parker used to be in ministry, and are you still in ministry?
That's a loaded question to a believer, but
Yeah,
like I guess the answer is always going to be yes,
yeah,
right? If somebody's a believer and they believe in the Great Commission and
hmm
all those things, then we are all called into ministry. But
hmm
as far as like paid career ministry,
yeah,
no, I'm not.
no,
I volunteer at our church sometimes. I'm a musician, singer. I lead the music. I used to be the main worship pastor at our church.
hmm
It's a 3 campus church, pretty big church, but um, I serve. I'm leading this weekend for 3 services this upcoming weekend.
yeah,
But I don't get paid or anything like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So you're
and
just do
sometimes they'll occasionally hire me for some design work. Like when they have a couple of females in their creative department who have gotten pregnant,
hmm
right? Who go on maternity or whatever, and so whenever that happens, I'll fill in for them or
fill in.
whatever.
Yeah,
But
gotcha.
yeah,
Okay,
that's pretty much it. I'm all self-employed now.
yeah.
Not working at the church at all.
Yes, being self-employed is awesome, dude. Like, I don't know if I could ever go back to a real job unless I had, unless I just told them straight up, like, I need control of my schedule.
Yeah,
That I can promise I'll get things done, but I don't know, like, I don't know if I could go sit in a cubicle and make phone calls all day. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if the job said you need to be in office 5 days a week, like, I don't know what I would do, man.
yeah.
I
I couldn't do it. Not at this point. I mean,
no.
obviously, I could do it at one point in my life when I was doing it, but
hmm
after doing it now, it's like, man. I mean, even talking about like the kids,
hmm
stuff that we go to. One day, I'll be able to look back and be like, man, I got to go to all that stuff.
All
I
of it.
went to everything.
Yep. Yep.
And I got to hunt, right?
Yeah.
Like I still get to hunt technically as much as I want. You know this, you know how this is. Like you can hunt as much as you want, but when you're self-employed, there's that voice that's like, that would be irresponsible of you to go
Yeah.
hunt today.
Yeah.
Um,
Or for me, it was, hey, I should probably, like I want to go to sleep right now. I hunted, I got up at 4 this morning. I got into the tree. I came back out. I did a little work. I went back into the tree. It's dark. I come home. I eat supper. And the next thing you know, it's like 10 o'clock at night and I still have an hour of work or two to do. And of course, what I do for the network is I am responsible for other people's content as well. So it's like I could go tell them, hey, I'm not going to get it done today, but they worked really hard in, trying to do that. So I stay up and I get it done. And, I guess fulfill my commitment of what I promised people. But then the next day you're like, I do not want to get out of bed at 4 a.m. Then you do that like 14 days in a row. You're just like crawling by the
and then some
season.
joker sends you a message on your Instagram story of you waking up at 4 that says "must be nice," and you're like,
Yeah, it
"What
must
the
be
heck?"
nice. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Must be nice to do this whenever you want.
Yeah,
So
must be nice to have vacation.
yeah.
Like must be nice to
Yeah.
have an actual vacation and know what
Yeah.
that's
I don't
like.
get to walk
Jeez.
away from my businesses. So well, let's
PTO? What's that?
yeah, what's that? What's that? Someone sent me, like it was funny. Someone sent me, I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Sent me an email yesterday, and it was like a business email. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Here we go. And it was like, and so something about I'm getting some boxes put together to send out NPD. What do you think NPD means?
New podcast. I don't know. I got
So
nothing.
I looked it out and I was just like, it's narcissistic personality disorder.
Oh.
And I was like, that's what I Googled, like, what does NPD mean? And I'm like, hey, these people don't think I'm crazy, right? Like, I'm not an asshole. I don't know why, but it also means new product development. So I was like, for a second there, I was like, wait a second, what's going on? And then I had to scroll down a little further to get like, what does NPD mean in business terms? And so, yeah, new product development. So I thought I
Okay,
was a
that makes sense.
narcissist for just a little bit, which I could be. I don't know.
Yeah, that may
I
just be your guilt.
yeah, exactly. I know I definitely have disorder, some kind of disorder, but I don't know if I'm a narcissist. All right,
That's funny.
tandem coffee sip, and now
That's
we're
right.
gonna do a quick commercial from our partner over at Montana Decoy. Man, I'll tell you what, I really like the Montana Decoys. Two reasons. One, packable. They're like an accordion. Some of them are like an accordion. You can stuff them down, especially the turkey decoys. You accordion them down, you put a strap on, throw them in your pack, you're mobile, you pull them out, pop them back up, and you have a very high definition printed turkey decoy. And I've never understood like the really, really high quality, like as it like almost taxidermy look of decoys, because I once shot a decoy over, or a tom over, a strutting tom over top of a inflated black uh, trash bag that got caught on a corn stalk, and it was, the wind caught it just right, and it was inflated, and the tom was strutting around this trash bag, and then I shot him, and so I was just like, okay, well, their mind is the size of a peanut or whatever, their brain's the size of a peanut. They can't, I don't, whatever. And so, anyway, what I'm getting at is I love the Montana Decoy. And if you're a Western guy and you want to go chase antelope, you want to go chase mule deer, elk, they have decoys for that as well. So go visit montanadecoy.com. All right. Turkeys. Alabama's, well, first off, how many states did you hunt this year?
I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You
5
did
states.
You did 5 states since the last time we talked?
Maybe not since the last time we talked. I did 2 states since the last time we talked.
Okay. Holy cow.
I think
you did 5 or 6? 5.
5. I think I did 5
Okay.
altogether.
What states?
So there was and this is funny enough for your listeners. This is the only place that I'm going to name any of the states that I hunted. I decided this year to just kind of stop doing that, like
Okay.
putting it on videos and things like that. But I don't,
Yeah.
for a podcast, it's not that big of a deal. So it was Florida, which is kind of traditional at this point, starting in Florida. Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, then Michigan.
Okay.
And
right.
And then back home.
Gotcha. And what was the lat? How many tags do you get in Michigan? Or excuse me, I'm sorry, Alabama.
In Alabama, you get 4.
4.
Yeah, you get 4, and I did not fill all those tags in Alabama.
Okay. Is the season over for you now?
It is. Yeah, Tennessee's still open. They'll be open until I think pretty much the end of the month in the end of May. But so the way Tennessee works is you buy your license, and it's a 365 license. So it lasts a year from when you bought it. So last year I ended up buying my license, I think May the 6th. So I got to hunt on that license until May the 6th this year. And so that allowed me to get to hunt Tennessee. And I was gonna re-up it because I hunt Tennessee every year for deer and turkeys because it's just so close. And but after hunting Missouri and Michigan, Missouri is very proud of their turkeys. Let me tell you, they have upped the price of their non-resident tag, their singular non-resident tag that you get.
How much?
And it's like $300 something.
Woo!
For one turkey.
Man, that's some states' deer tags.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous. But it's pretty good turkey hunting in Missouri. I mean, you pay for a good experience. Guys want to knock a state off their list, and I'm not really all that. I don't care about the like. I do it. I go to new states when I can because at some point in my life I would like to say that I completed the 49 if at all possible. But I'm not today. I'm not like one of these COVID dudes that wants to knock it out in a year. So like I like it, but $300 is kind of like in the middle. It's like that's very expensive for a single turkey tag, but also like it's not like the worst. The $300 is not crazy. It's not like $1,000 or something. It's still cheaper than a lot of things. And I'm cheap. I sleep in my truck in my 4Runner. take a
Mhm.
mattress in the back of that, sleep in the Walmart parking lots or the campgrounds, and eat crap food for
Mhm.
2 weeks. So I'm pretty cheap. Tags is
Yeah.
really the bulk of my expense, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That and gas.
that get
I
real freaking right now, dude.
right
Illinois,
now,
it was
dude,
like 507, I think, on that trip. Ugh.
man, I'm getting old. I'm just getting old. Like I'm literally bitching about everything these days. Like, oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, it's the gas is too high. Like, oh, politicians, whatever, whatever.
Between
Like,
gas and nicotine, dude, up north, I don't know. I don't know how people are making it, man. Like nicotine up there is insane expensive.
that's
Like they're
crazy, dude.
proud of their nicotine up there.
Yeah, that's something
Um,
I don't mess with, or why I don't do. I'll tell you what though. I have I don't I it's hard to drink a cup of coffee literally all day long, so I'll put
yeah,
in the caffeine pouches in my mouth, like, or the energy pouches and things like
yep,
that, and so and then, like, I don't know what's going on, but like between my knee surgery and my body still healing from that, like I'm tired. And so
yeah.
I'm trying to like really stay awake all day to maintain my family and my job or my business and things like that. So I don't even know if I could have possibly made 4 mornings into the turkey woods this year. If even if even if I had a better knee, just because
Right.
I've been so tired lately. So, um, all right, let's talk a little bit about in those five states. Let's talk about differences and similarities,
Yeah.
because you kind of went all, you ran the South a little bit, but then you also popped up to Michigan. So talk to me about similarities and differences from strategy, and I'll pop in and ask some questions. The terrain, the birds, all that stuff.
So this year, a lot of years, what I'll do is I'll try to hunt as many subspecies as I can, right? Like I always try to do a Rio hunt. We had some access to some property in Texas, and
Mm-hmm.
Rios are fun. They're just fun, man. They're kind of aggressive. They're real aggressive. They're real vocal, and they're fun. So I always try to get that in there. And this year I didn't. I was supposed to. My
Mm-hmm.
original plan was to go to instead of Missouri, Michigan, I was going to go to Washington, Northern California, Idaho, like West Coast, Oregon, those kind of states over there.
Mm-hmm.
And everything just shot up in price so much, and the air the airline cost was going to be like triple what it was a couple of days before when we looked at it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, that's too much. I'm not going to pay
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 on airfare for
Yeah.
this. And so I decided to go over there, but um, there's a lot of differences in subspecies. So if you hunt Merriams, Rios, Easterns, and Osceolas, you're going to find a bunch of differences, mostly due to their location. But this year, the only subspecies that I actually hunted was Easterns and Osceolas, and so and I would say that they're probably the two most similar um,
Okay.
subspecies of turkeys. Um, Rios and Merriams are kind of similar, and they live and uh, breed together in a lot of these other Western states.
Mm-hmm.
Where and it's kind of the same. It seems the same. I'm not a biologist or anything, so I don't actually know what the similarities are, but just in my experience, they're a little more similar. And part of the thing that makes them the most similar is the pressure on them, um, because everybody and their mother wants to kill their Osceola,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have this specific subspecies that's only in one place. It's in one state. It's not like the rest of them where they can choose multiple states. Um, and then you go even further, and there's like only a few places that an average guy can go just on an over the counter tag in Florida
Mm-hmm.
to kill an Osceola.
Yeah.
And so it the pressure that's on the birds, I feel like, is what makes them unique, So Alabama Easterns are pretty freaking pressured,
Yeah.
and they're harder to kill because of that, right? They're just a little more less likely to answer. They don't gobble as much or whatever. Osceolas are
Yeah.
real similar. Um, And so I would say that's probably the pressure that's on them is what dictates how they're going to be.
Yeah.
And then the further north you go, what you'll find is people care a lot less about turkeys.
Hmm.
And so, Michigan or Missouri still has a pretty decent turkey population. They got a rich turkey culture in Missouri.
Yeah.
But still, their public has way less pressure than
Yeah.
what you're going to find in Florida, Mississippi,
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee,
Yeah.
even.
Yep.
And so, that's what makes them so different. I'll tell you some really specific things though. Just in the gobble is the a big difference. Even in Michigan, like there was one turkey that I hunted up in Michigan. Actually, the bird that I killed was with another turkey, and one of them had I mean, dude, I'm talking about a powerful gobble. They were both
Hmm.
longbeards. The other one sounded like a Merriam's. He was like, blah, 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 blah. He just didn't have a strong gobble. And that can mess you up in the turkey woods. When you're used to hunting a certain, like Florida can mess you up too because they gobble a little bit quieter than the Eastern. And
Yeah.
also everything is so dense. The
Hmm.
trees are so full always in Florida, and
Yeah.
you got water and things that are really absorbing all the sound of the gobble. And so your first couple days in Florida, you hear a gobble, you'll bust birds off the limb because you think they're 300 yards away and they're actually like 75.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a very big. That's probably the thing that gets people the most in Florida. That
Yeah.
gobble's so quiet.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell you this. That's something that I've had to learn. And we've had similar conversations about this in previous episodes about a turkey can be in a bottom and facing you and gobble, and then just simply turn around and gobble the opposite direction, and you think he's on his way out, right?
yeah,
Or he gets behind a tree or a big bush, and it just has such a huge impact on the sound and how that carries. And he's done nothing different, maybe just spun around in a circle, and and there's been so many times where I've stood up and walked closer to them, and then they see me, and they're they're right over the lip of the terrain, and not 100 yards further down like I thought they were, and then that causes me to get pissed.
Can I tell you a story real
Yeah,
quick,
yeah,
Dan? So this is I've wanted to tell this story. I told you I'm not doing a podcast anymore,
mm-hmm.
and so a lot of these things that I'm so used to being able to share with the
Yep,
world, it's just stuck inside my heart, and I
yep,
can't let it out anymore.
yep.
I need to be free, Dan. I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly.
I'll let you strut.
Uh, and but this Michigan turkey was absolutely one of my favorite turkey hunts because not only did I get to kill the turkey, which is fun, that's part of it, but he taught me so stinking much. This northern bird that other people would say is an easy turkey,
Mm-hmm.
and make no mistake, it is an easier turkey than the birds that I hunt back home. But my mistakes kept screwing up the opportunity. Anyway, back to what you were talking about how different it can sound based on which direction he is. So
Mm-hmm.
ended up missing this turkey twice, right? Day 1 found him, day 2 missed him, day 3
Yeah.
missed him, day 4 killed him. And like I said, they were both together. There's 2 gobblers together, so I don't actually know which one I hit or missed, but they were always together. And this particular morning, I had missed him the morning before, and so I went back. It was my last morning, and they started gobbling, and they were a little bit deeper than they had been before in the last few days or whatever. They were just a little bit deeper into this little, I hesitate to call it a swamp, but it had some standing water, little puddles and
Yeah.
stuff. Really cool place, really cool spot. And I heard them gobbling, so I started walking in there, and a hen flew off, like right when I started walking. She made a lot of racket, but she flew off to another country. Like she flew straight up in the air and got smaller as she went away. Does that make sense? Like she went
Yep.
straight up. I'm like, well,
Yep.
she's not going to be a problem.
Yep.
And but she was loud when she did it, and it was dark. It was pretty dark. So I start working my way in, and he's gobbling, gobbling. Well, then I think he's about 100 yards away. I'm like, I got about 20 yards to work into this spot before I need to sit down. Well, I go to like step over a log, and all of a sudden "Bah!" He gobbles, and it's in my face. It's 50 yards
Yeah.
away. It's like, oh crap. I
Like you
have
could
gotten
feel it. You could feel it.
incredibly way too
Yeah.
close. And it's dark enough that I feel safe, but I cannot go any further.
Hmm.
I sit down. I like in the video, and if anybody wants a visual with this, I just posted the full hunt of this on YouTube. So no cuts at all. You can see this entire from start to finish from the time I bust the hen off the tree to when I kill him. And so I stop, I freeze. I'm like, oh crap, he's right here. I
Yeah.
sit down, I like melt into the tree, like, have you ever done this where you're like, I just gotta like make no movement? I like melted into a tree
Yep.
and sat down. And as soon as I sat down, it's dark, dude. It's like, it's 6 o'clock Eastern time. So 5 o'clock this time, Central time. And it's dark and he flies down. I see his outline fly down onto the ground right towards me. And so I was able to put it together that he thought that I was that hen. He had heard the racket. He had heard her fly down. Then he heard me crunching in the leaves. And he was like, well, I guess she's ready. It's time.
Yep.
So he flies down and it's dark and he's gobbling in the dark, on the ground. And I can see his outline and I can't shoot him because it's not legal light at all. And ended up, he worked over to the other turkey. The other turkey flew down and they strutted into me. And it was a fun as crap hunt. It was so much fun. But to your point, I almost got, that would have been one of the worst hunts of my life after missing him twice in a row and then getting so close to him again and then screwing it up because I got too close on the roost. But dude, it went from 100 yards to 50 yards real quick. Just from him turning around.
Yeah. I've been there before. And then add in an overcast day where I looked at my phone. This was years ago. I looked at my phone. I was like, okay, well, it's legal light, but I still can't see too much. And he was like, I walked in off a cattle pasture to like a top of a ridge that just barreled down real hard to a river bottom, and he was on the point in a big like a big oak, and so I just sat down in this fence line with my back on basically almost on the gate, and I started calling. He gobbled, and then he shut up. Right, he just gobbled one time, and so I was like, oh shit, I better sit down. Did the same thing you did, sat down back to this gate, and I heard him fly down. I heard another turkey fly down, and I think I don't know, just one little type of deal, and he started coming up, and the only way that I could see him was because of his white head. It's the only way I knew where he was at, where he was coming, and it was overcast, and the timber was still dark, and I just put my bead right on his white head, and I had an early breakfast that day.
Yeah, dude, those are so much fun, man. When I went to call people that day, you might have experienced it that day. Like I shot, got the turkey, brought him over to me, and I was like, oh, I got to call my friends. Everybody's asleep still because it's like dark everywhere else.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Any other differences or similarities? Like, is the strategy in Florida and Alabama the same as up in Michigan for you?
I would say the strategy in Michigan would be similar to Alabama, except for in Michigan, there's just so much less hunting pressure for turkeys.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's not the same for deer, and there's a little bit of hunting pressure in Michigan for turkeys, but I think a lot of it's late. I think most of the pressure's later because they stay open in June in Michigan.
Yeah.
And so southern guys aren't going to Michigan until it's the only place that they can hunt a lot of times. And so I that's a huge strategy though, really, when you think about just your overall strategy for turkey hunting, the strategy of how far am I going to go? Where am I going to start? Where's my listening spot for this morning? In a place like Michigan, or a place like Minnesota or Wisconsin, or like a lot of Iowa, Missouri, dude, you could just get out of the truck at the gate and hear a turkey gobble, and then there's potential for that in Alabama for sure, but it just is less likely. You got to walk and kind of get to the spots that are a little bit deeper where the turkeys haven't been messed with and not just messed with, but killed. Like opening day, you might get some at the gates, but they're going to die pretty fast.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the biggest thing. Florida's like that too, but again, most of the time when I hunt Florida, it's the opener, so things are a little bit different. But as the week progresses, those birds get deeper and deeper into the swamps, and so when you look at the southern states versus the northern states, I would say where you start and how deep you are and how physically demanding is the hunt going to be. The South is far more physically demanding than the Midwest. Like
Yeah.
it's just you just don't have to work as long in the Midwest.
Yeah, I've
I
never
would
been
say.
lost when I lived in Alabama, I got lost in Bankhead National Forest for like 13 hours. I got lost. It was again an overcast day. I couldn't tell the direction of my shadows. I hopped in. I hopped into. I parked my truck on the side of this old road, like a dirt road type deal, and jumped in. Made a couple hen calls, and then I chased two gobblers who were responding to me, but they were moving. And then I hopped over one hill. I hopped over another hill, and then I turned around. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go back to my truck, and I couldn't find my truck, dude. It was scary. Like I was dehydrated. I had a shotgun with me and some turkey calls. That was it. I didn't bring water with me. And so by the end of that day, I heard a dog bark. And so I just guessed where this dog bark came from. And I walked straight to there, saw the road, and then hopped up. I looked down to the left, and my truck's like 100 yards from that. It was
awesome.
nuts, dude. It was nuts.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was a great feeling. So anyway,
imagine if you would have had a dead turkey,
yeah.
towed a dead turkey that whole time.
Yeah, for like 8 straight hours.
8
Yeah.
hours.
8 hours of holding the turkey and being like, dude, what's going on? I probably would have started trying to find fire and eating it.
Probably eating it. Yeah.
So okay, talk to me a little bit about early season, no vegetation, or like when the Alabama turkey season starts or the Florida turkey season starts, it's still pretty green, right? Compared to like an April in the Midwest.
Florida's
Yeah.
never not green, right?
Yeah.
So when you go there, it's like it might be colder in March, because usually it's like March the 20th, March 15th through the 20th, somewhere around there that we go. And it's sometimes cold, sometimes it's hoodie weather, that you got to, in the mornings especially. But yeah, dude, it's green there.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about Florida is that those birds prefer the water. Like they prefer the swamp and like the 5 to 6 inch deep water with terrible mud, cypress swamps. That's where they freaking love it. You're gonna think that they're gonna be on the ridges and the oak hammocks and the dry ground and the road beds and stuff like that. No, man, those turkeys live in the water. They like the water.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge difference. I mean, if you don't know that, it took me like 3 years in Florida to learn that. 3 years of like, why was this turkey in the dang swamp?
Yeah.
And it's because that's where all the food, that's where all the everything is. And also, hunters don't want to get them in there too bad,
exactly. Yeah.
Alabama, you asked about greenery. Alabama used to be where, like, when it opened in mid-March, it would be like, we'd have 2 weeks of open hardwoods to hunt, and that's great. That's so much fun because you can hear them from a long ways away. It's a little harder to move on birds, but we've got terrain, and it makes it fun to think about the terrain. Okay, like I got to get around this bench and stay hidden. You feel real stealthy and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can hear them for forever. But this year, it greened up. I mean, it was green when it opened.
Yeah.
It was a week after opener. I went back into a spot and it looked like June. It looks the way it does in June, and it was like, man, this is going to make things tough. And I told you I didn't fill all my tags in Alabama. That early green up for me, I mean, it killed me. It was rough. It was rough on me.
Yeah. How does your strategy change from open woods to full green up where where you can't see 50 yards in front of you?
Well, full green up means if you hear a gobble, you can just start running towards it. You don't have to, you're not like, oh, I got to make a big horseshoe around this ridge so he doesn't see me or whatever. You can just really make moves real fast, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But then again, you can't hear as far. So you end up Like when it's really green, if I'm just trying to strike turkeys,
Mm-hmm.
it's, every 75 yards I'm calling.
Yeah.
Because 75 yards makes a huge, heck, 30 yards probably makes a huge difference
Yeah.
in green up.
Yeah.
And so I call, I walk slower, I call more, I would say, in heavy green up. But then also, of course, moving on the bird is a big thing. Doing the big horseshoes and the big loops around a ridge and the open hardwoods.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that killed me in Michigan. I said I kept missing. I missed twice.
Yeah.
In Michigan. It was because those woods were so much more open than what I was used to. And then of course you're up north, so spring is later.
Mm-hmm.
It's still early spring in Michigan at the time. And like, dude, I was spooking turkeys from 150 yards off in the woods. I'd see them running through there and I'm like, what the crap is going on, And then like depth perception is really hard
Yeah.
in wide open hardwoods. And I would shoot these turkeys for 40 yards and they would be 55 or 60. And I'm like, golly,
Mm-hmm.
once I'd step it off, I'm like, dude, did you start hunting in COVID? Jeez,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Yeah.
let them
Your
come.
rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
A lot of
twice
rookie
in
mistakes.
a row.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would say that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's a lot of strategy in how you approach a turkey,
Mm-hmm.
in how you try to strike turkeys.
Yeah.
It changes pretty dramatically, I would say, throughout the green up.
Yeah. All right. Another strategy question here for you is Tom's responding to you very well. You know his location. He's in the tree. And then he shuts up. What are you doing? How much time are you giving him before you're making additional moves? Like the bird goes quiet after he flies down.
This is my favorite subject in turkey hunting right here, because I think a lot of people, and I'm not, dude, like, I'm not top tier. I hunt a lot, I get to kill a lot of turkeys because I hunt a lot,
Right.
and I have a passion for it. But there's guys who know this a whole lot better than I do, and I mess this up all the time. But it is seriously my favorite thing to talk about, because I think we all mess up here a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the South has made this easier for me. I would say specifically where I live in the South, the turkeys that I hunt here in Alabama are, I mean, they're tough, dude. Like, they're just tough. They're I'm not going to say they're the toughest turkeys in the country, because everybody says that, but they're hard. They're hard enough. Um, and so but it's taught me that if I find a bird, I stick with that bird like he's the last one,
Yeah.
And so when I go to Florida or wherever, if I hear a turkey gobble, I call it a volley, if we volley at all. So if he ever one time answers me, I'm going to stick with that turkey all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do everything in my power to stay with him as long as I possibly can and be able to kill him, because eventually he's going to gobble again. Eventually something's going to happen. The old timers used to do this a lot. They would hear a turkey gobble and they would just sit there. They would stay still. They didn't do the whole get one tree closer and run and gun and keep going. And I do. I like doing that. But patience is a huge part of turkey hunting that people talk about a lot. But I've hunted with enough people to know that after an hour of sitting on a turkey, most people are tired of it. But dude,
Yeah.
I'll sit there. I'm like, if he ever once gobbles at me, I'm hooked, right? But even just knowing that he's there, if I can stay with that flock, or if he's henned up, if I can stay with him, I'm going to kill him. Like, eventually he's going to break. And that happened so much during this Michigan hunt that I've talked about. The first day that I hunted them for 13 hours. I watched them fly down, first light, and I missed him at 7:30 that evening.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I had a couple other opportunities at them throughout the day, but I just stayed with them. I was following poop. I was following scratch sign, because they did not want to gobble that day. But being able to get that close allowed me to stay with them the rest of the day. There was enough sign, enough gobbling that I could, like, 2:00, he gobbled one time, and it was like, oh crap, they're way up there. So I made a move,
Yeah.
That's turkey hunting to me, man. Like, that is absolutely turkey hunting. What is not turkey hunting to me is turkeys are gobbling and you're like, oh, he's just not ready, and you go find another one. Bump that noise, dude. That's stupid. Like,
I think the last guy we interviewed on here said he does not, like, if they sound like they're going away, he just doesn't even chase them. He just,
yeah, that's somebody who's spoiled. That's somebody who lives. That's somebody who lives in a place like Iowa.
oh, come on.
And don't get me wrong, dude. One of my favorite turkey hunting buddies, Joey Bell. He does that. He says the same thing. He doesn't. But he lives in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't.
Yeah.
If I lived in Tennessee, maybe I'd hunt him a little bit different.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is, you find a turkey, you stay with him, and eventually kill him, and it works out. It works out for me, even if it doesn't work that day. In this Michigan scenario, it's such a good hunt, man. I use it for a lot of examples because it was so good. I learned a lot in that hunt, but I stayed with them all day for 3 days, right? Like, it was like, figure out where they're at. Now the fourth day when I actually killed them, I missed him the day before at 10 a.m. And at 10 a.m. after I missed, I got out of there. I was like, these turkeys have been spooked. They've been shot at. The hens have been run off. Like, I need to give them a break. So I did what I'm talking about for the rest of the day. I just went and tried to strike turkeys, and then came back there the next morning, and he was there. Like, that's the thing. They were there. Even if they weren't, another turkey probably would have been there.
Yeah.
Like, leaving turkeys to find turkeys is it's not smart.
Just say it. Just say it.
It's just not a good. It's not a good way of hunting turkeys to me.
Okay.
Like it.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It might be a good way to hunt turkeys. It will limit where you will be able to kill a turkey. Is that fair?
Yeah. Okay.
If that's how you hunt a turkey, it will limit you. You're not going to go to Georgia and kill a whole lot of turkeys that way. You're going to have to learn how to find a turkey and stay with him, because it's hard to find them. And so I like doing that, man. I love that question.
Yeah.
Like, if a turkey flies down and he goes silent, what are you going to do? I'm just going to stay there until he gobbles again. And I've killed a bunch of turkeys at 10 that I watched fly down at 6 by just staying there, staying in the same spot.
Yeah. How actively are you calling at him if he's quiet and doesn't respond?
Quietly, I'm doing bubble clucks, purrs, soft stuff all morning, scratching, just blip, 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 yep. Scratching in the leaves.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to kill that turkey from that spot. If he gobbles again, I go into run and gun mode, right? If I get some intel of where he's at, okay, now I can make a move. But I'm not just going to I cannot tell you early in my turkey hunting how many times I would do this. I would hunt a turkey for 2 hours and then just get impatient, stand up, and he'd fly off. You know a bunch of turkey hunters probably that have that story.
Yep.
Well, that's you can do something about that. You can fix that. You just stay there until something happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my rule. I'm going to stay here until something happens, or absolutely nothing happens for a long period of time, because I know he was just right here.
Mm-hmm.
And he may have moved, but I find that turkeys, they move a lot less than you think they are.
Yeah. That's a fact. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, let's see. We talked about the quiet bird. Usually a quiet bird, if they don't come straight in, right, they're probably henned up, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about what your thoughts are on toms that are henned up, and how you're trying to either pull a hen in, or you're trying to get them to break away from a hen. What's your henned up strategy?
Well, I mean, what we just talked about really applies mostly to henned up gobblers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if they're not henned up, it's not every single time you're going to kill them, but it's a pretty good chance that if you kind of halfway know what you're doing, you can kill a gobbler that's by himself. But even at that, like, sometimes it's still in the afternoon. Sometimes they're just stubborn in the mornings. They want to do what they do. They already had a plan, and they're going to stick with it. And, there's nothing you can do about that. But staying put is what really does that. Now, a henned up turkey, he's harder to kill every time, pretty much. And sometimes it is what you just said. I'm trying to get her fired up. If I notice, and it's temperature stuff. You've probably heard turkey hunters say, checking the temperature of a bird, right? I'm not
Right.
checking the temperature of a bird to see if I'm going to stay with him. I'm just checking him to see how much I need to actually call to him,
Yeah.
or checking the temperature of the hens that he's with.
Hmm.
If one of my misses in Michigan happened because I fired up a hen. These birds they were henned up. They had 4 hens with them. 2 toms, 4 hens. They didn't need me.
Hmm.
They didn't
Yeah.
want to have anything to do with me. But by the end of the trip, by day 4, I had spooked all the hens.
Yep.
They were gone. The toms were by themselves. They didn't have any hens with them anymore, and they were ready finally that day. And that's when I was able to seal the deal. But it made them significantly. I mean, I told you 13 hours one day on henned up turkeys.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just it changes so much. The strategy changes throughout the day. You don't know what it's going to be. Yeah, that
Yeah.
13-hour day is a good example. At first, I watched the turkey fly down. He flew down and right in front of me. The hens flew down right next to me, and I watched them.
Hmm.
And they had no interest in me. They were gobbling like crazy, but they saw the hens and they went to them. By, let's see, 3, I think, 3 p.m. I struck them and they came like that. Like those gobblers were ready at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I finally found them again, finally figured out where they had went to, called, they came in within 2 minutes. They were
Yeah.
ready. Now, I didn't miss them that time, but they just didn't it wasn't a clear shot. I just didn't have a good shot, and so I ended up not taking the shot. But those birds were fired up. They were like dancing around each other, strutting. It was cool as
Hmm.
crap. But I mean, that tells you it. If I would have, let's just say you had 2 hunters, okay? One hunter went in there in that same spot in the morning, and they hunted those turkeys until lunch.
Hmm.
Another hunter number 2, goes in there at lunch and hunts those same turkeys, and he kills that turkey at 3 or
Yeah.
whatever. There would have been such different. If you could have videoed both of those, you would have thought they were different turkeys,
Yeah.
right? And so it changes throughout the day. You cannot ever just stick to one thing. You got to stay on your feet. You got to stay, and I don't mean literally on your feet. You got to stay on your toes. Like
Yep.
constantly be thinking, be focused, because the moment that you lose your focus is the moment that he's inevitably going to walk into you, and you're gonna
Yep.
you're gonna be, you're
Yep.
gonna screw up the shot or whatever.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, man, I do.
When when do
I
you
like those days.
when do you go quiet? Like if you're playing cat and mouse, and let's say he's responding to some of your calling, when do you make the decision to shut up and stop making noise?
When he's fired up, when
Yeah.
he's gobbling on his own, you know, like I'll do what I can to get him real fired up. If I know that he's not, if he's just kind of every once in a while gobbling to me, I'll just cut hard, just and try to get
Yeah.
them just going.
Yeah.
And once they do that, it's quiet for me until I have a reason to do it again.
Yep.
If I realize that he's further away or if he's moved another direction, um, I'm always trying to cast a call on one side or the other so that I can manipulate which way he goes once he starts coming my direction. But
Hmm.
it's going to be real soft, and it's going to be, if I know a turkey's coming to me at the time,
Yeah.
or there's a really good chance of it that they're coming to me,
Yeah.
my calling gets a lot softer. But I'm also waiting on things like wind or a noise, something like a woodpecker or a crow or something to distract him a little bit, so he's not. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's not able to.
Like a shot gobble, like a
No,
woodpecker goes and he responds by shot gobble.
that's yes, kind of, but it that's what I'm going to call. I'm going to call
Yeah.
then, because he can't directly pinpoint where that call is coming from. Hopefully,
Mm,
that's the hope. If there's a noise or something else going on, all he knows is there's a call that direction. I need to go that way. But I
yeah.
don't want him to. I don't want him to pinpoint my tree, right? Like I want him to.
Right.
I want him to just kind of come in curious and looking and like, I don't know exactly where she's
Right.
at, but she's somewhere here. I don't want him to know
Yeah.
exactly where my tree is. So I'll call to him just to manipulate that. But as far as like really getting him fired up to gobble, trying to make him gobble,
Yeah.
uh, the moment that I know he's coming my direction, I'm pretty much gonna stop.
I think that's one of my biggest problems. Dude, I overcall a ton. I overcall. And so I don't feel like they come in because I call so much, they can pinpoint me from the ridge over. and they don't need to come in because they don't see shit, right? And so it's just me making a ton of noise and them going, well, they should be here. I don't see any turkeys. Which brings me to my next question: is decoys, yes or no?
No,
No.
and not for. I mean, maybe there's some purity reasons in there
Mhm.
somewhere for me. I've
Yeah.
used them before, and I would
Yeah.
not hesitate to use them if I felt like I needed one.
Right.
Uh, Especially on private land. If I was on private land. Now
Mhm.
the thing with public is, I just think it's dangerous. I had a really scary moment in
I've
Tennessee
been there. Yep.
this year, and it was
Hmm.
foggy. A guy was using a gobble tube. He came in behind me into a spot. Like, I listened from a spot. Turkey gobbled. I went that direction. He was across the river. Another turkey gobbles back where I had just been listening at. I walk over there,
Yep.
and there's a turkey in the road, a gobbler. I'd just been there an hour before, and
Yeah.
I confirmed a gobble, and I pulled my gun up, and I
Hmm.
I got on him, and he was like 40 yards, and I'm like, that turkey is not moving.
Yeah.
And so I put it down, walked over there, and there was a dude with a crossbow I mean, in line with where I was shooting at, dude. It
Yeah.
was so scary. I posted that video to the internet, and people crucified me for it, actually, as if
Yeah.
I pulled the trigger and said I was the safety hazard in this
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
And that's ignorant. I will never admit guilt in that scenario.
Yeah.
Never. The
Yeah.
guy using a decoy on public land is a freaking hazard.
Yeah.
Okay. And especially a male decoy. Now, confirm your target. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I did. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I don't know a single hunter who will stand in a spot an hour before with no turkey, walk in, walk back to that spot, see a decoy there, and not shoulder their gun.
Yeah.
It's ignorant to think that you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I've hunted with enough people, so that's my spiel on decoys. I think they're a safety hazard on public land.
Yeah.
But I'm guilty of it. I've done it before when I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
watch.
man. I've had I've had some scenarios on public where I've seen a decoy out and it's far enough to where, and I don't know, I had my binos on me. I just decided not to use them at that point. And so I came, so like this decoy was in a field and it was one of those wind ones. So it was moving. And then I came in I crossed the fence line onto a different piece of public. It's like there's a fence line there. I crossed it and I worked the fence line so that Tom wouldn't see me. And so I would get close, I'd get close, I'd get close. And then the only reason I stopped is because I saw reflection off of the guy's gun. Like something shiny was on his gun and it stopped me. And then I put my binos up and I'm like, okay, that's a hunter. And then I scrolled a little bit to the left and there was the decoy. I could see no feet. I could see the peg it was on, or the
Yep.
spike it was on. So yes.
For me, it was the Jake beard. Like, I didn't want to shoot a Jake, right? So that was my main confirmation that I was trying to make was there's no. I want to make sure it's not a Jake. I saw that little
Yeah.
Jake beard through the fog, dude. It was so foggy that morning too. That was
Yeah.
another factor in this deal. Like, you couldn't see details. You could just see
Yeah.
shapes and
Yeah.
red.
Yeah.
Red and
Yeah.
white through the fog. You're like, yeah. And so the gobble tube plus the mental confirmation that it is a real turkey, the gobble
Yeah.
is usually that for us all,
Yeah.
for all of us.
Yeah.
Anyone who says it's not is a liar. Like, dude, the comments on that video is full of liars. It's
Yeah.
crazy because they think that they couldn't find themselves in that same exact situation.
Yeah.
Alabama recently removed the ban on decoys for public this year. It'll be effective next year, and I think it's the most irresponsible, stupid.
You think someone's going to get hurt?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
will get hurt. That's the problem. Is we
Same
know
with,
they will.
Same with reaping, like same with
Yeah.
reaping turkeys. Like dude, I watched a video online the other day of two guys reaping some toms on there's two
I saw
strutters,
that.
and then the guy behind pretty much just shoots over this guy's shoulder and hits a turkey, and then they celebrate. I'm like, are you crazy? Like,
Yeah.
that's how you get pellets in the back. Like, that's how you're laying face down in an emergency room with someone pulling pellets out of the back of your head.
That's how you die.
That's how you die. Yeah.
Yep. It's not purity for me. Like, I don't have any problem with it, really.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't want to do it, but I don't really have much problem with it, especially on private. But when you're going to put
Yeah.
me and my family like at risk in this deal,
Yeah.
like, no, dude. My heart was beating that day. Like, I was like, it was an adrenaline because I knew what almost happened. And this guy, I'd been like, it was a situation where the guy absolutely walked in on me, knew he was doing that. There was one field behind this gate, and he set up a decoy in that one field. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, I had a scenario like that. I think it was like my second year ever of turkey hunting. So I personally was green on a lot of what was going on, but I had we were chasing a gobble, and then all of a sudden a gobble was like directly to our left. And so my uncle's like, hey, take this decoy and go set it out. And the guy had a a gobble tube, and he was gobbling. And I set this decoy. I think this is how it went. I was crawling on my hands and knees in this cattle pasture going to put a decoy out, and I look into the timber, and there's another hunter with his gun right at me, and I just went like this, like shaking my hands real quick, and then he like
he
put
saw
the
this
gun
and was
straight.
like, it's a turkey foot. I see a turkey foot.
I saw a 9-fingered turkey. And so he whipped his gun up straight, and I just was like almost shit my pants because I'm just like, oh, dude, like, I about got shot. And then since then, I have never, I haven't used a decoy on any public land. So, yeah,
they're smart.
Yeah. Great conversation today, man. We covered a little bit of everything. We covered some strategy. And so you said you've hunted 5 states. How many turkeys have you bagged this year?
Not enough.
You got to tell me. Not enough.
I can't. I don't. You know. I need
0?
One more.
Is it 0? Is it 0?
No. It's plenty.
You're a dog.
We kill plenty of them. I killed 2 in Alabama, and that's the one that matters to me.
I gotcha.
I wanna kill as many in my home state as they'll let me.
Yeah.
Because they're very special, you know. And my home state is arguably one of the toughest to hunt, and each turkey that I kill, whether it's easy, hard, private land, public land, they're all special here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. All right, Mr. Parker McDonald, man, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to us about your turkey hunting adventures and the strategy you kind of use every single season. So thank you very much for your time. If you guys like what you're listening to here on the How to Hunt Turkey podcast, do me a favor, go to Spotify, iTunes, wherever you download this podcast, leave a 5-star review, and then also maybe comment, subscribe. And if you want to see our beautiful faces, you can watch this episode on YouTube as well. So good vibes, everybody. Stay safe. Don't get shot by another hunter, and we will talk to you next time.